let's see. Sam, do you want to join us up front? Well, I apologize for the audio problems we're having here today. We're trying to fix that, but bear with us, and I'll try to project out. So, can everybody hear me at least in the back of the room? Okay. I've been told that I'm not quiet. So, all right. Well, I wanted to introduce. We have two panelists joining us today. One is going to be in the room in just a moment. She's wrapping up a conference call. But I want to introduce Sam Schill to you all today, who's joining us on this panel as we discuss small business and technology. Sam comes to us from Innova Ideas and Services. He's based in Ames. Innova operates in Ames and Des Moines. Sam is an interesting perspective on small business and technology. For one, Innova is itself a successful small business with how many employees now in the whole operation? 240. 240 employees that started as a mom and pop print shop in a basement in Ames and has grown into a national printing marketing agency. But Sam has some very interesting and fresh experience that I thought would be useful for this conversation, where he's been working with a number of tech startup groups across the country, but in particular in New York. So Sam, maybe you want to talk about that a little bit, and then also just to kind of set some ground rules. I want to keep this real casual, but we do have a lot of people here. So if you have something to say, just raise your hand and I'll flag you. But we don't have to wait or be overly structured in how we go about this. Also, I recognize that there are many people in the audience here that are experts themselves. So be it within your specific vein of small business or within communications or technology. So by all means, if you have something to offer that's not a question but a point, let's have the conversation. That's what we're here for. So with that, Sam, you want to give us kind of your perspective on small business and technology?
Sure, definitely. So just a quick background, I work on our business development team at Innova with my colleague Susan Hatton, and one of the things that I primarily focus in on is pursuing the emerging technologies, the emerging medias, as it relates to how our customers and how our own business is marketing and communicating messages. And along with that pursuit of finding what's the newest things, trying to figure out how to implement it into different campaigns and programs, like John said, we've had some interesting interactions with what is now being called the Silicon Alley in New York City. We're working with a group called by the name of Foursquare, or a new social media platform that's becoming very popular, and through that we've met a lot of interesting connections. So from lots of different angles, from us being a small business ourselves and having to be innovative and look at new technologies and how we're going to communicate to lots of different industries. We work with large businesses and small business from a marketing perspective, but also my pursuit to continue to try to find the new technology so that we can not only just help ourselves, but make sure that we are on top of it so that when our customers that we currently have or people approach us, we can put them in a strong position to be profitable by utilizing some of the newest technologies out there.
So didn't your Foursquare opportunity come about because you happened to be online at the right time?
Yeah. I'll just throw this out there. I'm kind of a nerd. I really am scouring the internet and Twitter and Facebook and things, trying to find some of the newest things. And I've been utilizing Foursquare on my iPhone for 6 months prior to getting an opportunity to engage with Foursquare in New York. And simply, our company, we have interesting enough, we have an apparel store on Main Street in Ames, and we sell Iowa State, Iowa, Unite apparel. And through our interaction with Foursquare, thinking about how's our small business in downtown Ames going to interact with our customers and students and things, we signed ourselves up for Foursquare, and they emailed us back and said, "Do you guys do marketing and communication stuff?" So about 30 seconds later, I called them, and through a process there, we've got a very strategic partnership with them and are able to roll out things globally for them. And it's a lot of fun.
So, anybody check in here today to the event? I got a few. There you go. All right. Well, very interesting. I think that, and I like that last little bit because it kind of shows that how quickly things can come together, and also how a small business can compete against. You would think that a company that's growing exponentially in Foursquare, that that they would be drawn to the light of a major New York or LA agency, but instead they're working with an agency that's based in Ames and Des Moines. That's kind of cool. So, and I think that's purely the power of the internet and connectivity. So, so with that, and on top of Karen's remarks, kind of curious what in the room your perspectives are with small business and technology. What are your experiences? And if you have anything you'd like to share or questions you'd like to ask of our panel, let's go ahead and get into the conversation. And I should warn you, I'll call on you too. So, especially those of you that I know. So, yes, ma'am.
I'm Judy Cruson, and I'm with the Rural Iowa Independent Telephone Association, and we have over 140 independent telephone companies in the state of Iowa, the most of any state. And we've been broadband providers for many years, and we're in second and third generation of deployment, and certainly, so we're small businesses providers, but we're also small businesses ourselves. And it has been a real challenge to get small businesses to really see how they can get a return on their dollar that they invest into technology, into broadband. It took a while to get the individuals on board and to be use the services, but small businesses have been a tough hurdle for us. And I'm just making that as from our experience with it. And any ideas that would come out of this group on how to better educate them and get more on board, we think, a big benefit for them. And of course, it brings more business to us.
Sure. Well, thanks for raising that. I think that from a Heartland Technology Alliance perspective, that's why we want to have that conversation, because we want to help small businesses see what opportunity they have if they embrace technology and embrace communications through broadband internet. And I think there's real opportunity there. And not every business is going to go snag a client on the coast, but it can even be a great way to connect with your local consumers as well. In fact, I know that there are several folks in the room that are pretty active in social media, and a lot of small businesses have embraced social media as a way to market to their clients and to make sure that people are clued in as to what's going on with their specials or offerings, or just what's going on with the company. Karen, do you have a perspective on why they might be a little slower to adapt?
Well, we scratch our heads and don't understand why. I think with some small businesses, unless they see the absolute need, and some of them are forced to make changes because of competition or because things might not be going well. I think there's that constant going at them to show why they need to do this and how it will improve their business. And really, it is identifying the need that they have in their business. Is it growing revenue? So this is how broadband can help you. Is it some internal type of management issues that you're having? Well, this is how broadband or cloud computing can help your business. So I know business owners are very busy, and I know when we interact with them, we find it very difficult to get their attention. But I just think it's again, just keep going at them and finding that need and hitting them at the right time as well. There's a lot of efforts going on. I know that, in Washington in regard to this. The SCORE Association has put together a conglomerate of all technology companies to reach out to the small business sector. There's specialized programs that are happening at the small business development centers, the women business centers throughout the country. So there is this major outreach effort underway to show small businesses the benefit of broadband. But and if we come across these best practices in terms of what they're gathering and how they were able to get, and I think that's what they intend to do. How were they able to turn small businesses to broadband? We certainly will share them with you. So
that SCORE resource would be a good one to turn your members to. So, sir, in the back.
I have a comment and then a question too, but I guess my comment is I'm with a small business imaging technologies. We're an office equipment business mainly. But we made a big investment in software maybe a year and a half ago that runs our business. And with the times, it was a very hard investment to make, but we did make that. We made that leap. You had talked about some of the efficiencies and dispatching, mobile dispatching, and things like that. And for our business, it's been an incredible. It paid itself back. It was a great investment looking back. It's just made our business completely so much more efficient than it ever was before with a lot of the things that we do. So looking back, it was a great investment, even though it was extremely hard to make that. That was my point. My question is, we're trying to get our head around social media and how to utilize that to market our business. And I've seen Christine Steinman in here somewhere. So she was in and talked to us and did a presentation for some of our customers. So but we're really trying to get our head around that as a small business. And if there's anybody here that has any comments or suggestions that could help us, give us some suggestions on how to utilize that, how to best reach our customers, get new clients through the use of different social media, we would really appreciate it if that could be brought up.
I think Chris is out of the room. Are there other folks here that work directly in social media right now?
Well, I mean, one of the, what we do, and if you want to sign up for our newsletter, we have everything that's going on impacting Washington and the nation's capital, but we also provide, a regular feature called Business Tips and Trends. And what we try to do is go through, all the business publications, all the how-to stuff that's out there, and, pick the best of those and highlight those in our regular newsletter. And a lot is focused on social media and different types of businesses and their use of social media and what has worked. So if you'd like to sign up for our e-news, and I regularly have things in there on social media, because I think it really depends on the business in terms of how they use social media and the business model. So so what we provide again is different types of businesses and their use of social media that fits their model, because it works differently. Will work differently with different types of businesses.
Just Matt.
I was just going to say, a lot of people get so tied up into worrying about that without even first taking a look at their website. Your website's the face, and if your website isn't tracking how people are finding you, if you're not doing something as simple as Google Analytics and integrating that and finding out where your clients are coming from, it doesn't matter if you have a Facebook, a Foursquare, a LinkedIn, a Twitter, it doesn't matter. Because the first thing they're going to do is Google you, or Google the service they're looking for. And if you are not reaching at the top because you're not providing good content, you're not showing people you're a leader, it doesn't matter. So you can waste your time chasing after these technologies, but until you're ready and until you've spent the time, done yourself the best service you can possibly do, and invested in your website and your content management and making yourself a leader by people finding your website, I wouldn't worry about it. And that's my opinion.
But I think that it's complicated. Obviously, there's a lot of different moving parts to any part of a marketing plan or a strategic communications plan. I think that and that's even tougher for a small business, because more often than not, your job is to be the CEO and the CFO and the head of HR, and more likely than not, you're doing some sort of maintenance as well. It might be the IT director as well, right? In a very small business. You wear a lot of different hats. And so now all of a sudden you're supposed to become a social media expert, or become the chief marketing officer, which of course is always a big job for a small business owner. I think that the big thing is to look at all of your efforts in terms of marketing within, I think that if Chris were here, and Christine is, she's my wife and she's a social media consultant, that's why she came up. I know what she would say would be, look at it in terms of everything you're doing in marketing, not as just a one-off thing. And so that would be probably the summation of her point on that would be, look at it in the context of everything you're doing and make sure it's consistent with your other objectives.